But my other new best friend is my Indian friend, Kash Patel. And I love Kash Patel, number one, because of his character, but number two, because of his commitment to justice.
First off, I just want to say congratulations to Team USA. If you guys don't know, I am a big hockey fan. Like, that's always been my sport. Out of all the professional sports, I think hockey has the most integrity. But with that said, it is really hard for me to celebrate these things. It just all feels like bread and circus right now. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, and it really doesn't help when, now with everything going on with the files, I feel like people are starting to wake up and pay more attention to different symbolisms, if you know what I mean. And the Olympics the last few years, well, it's had some symbolism. There are certain things, especially in these opening ceremonies, that lead a lot of people to believe that there might be some evil entities behind it. So I don't know. It's just hard. Obviously you don't want to take anything away from the players. You don't want to take anything away from the country. But with everything going on right now, I think what really did it for me and what really made it difficult for me was when I saw Kash Patel in the locker room with the Team USA shirt celebrating, or a USA shirt, sitting there pounding away a beer and celebrating. It just felt really, really inappropriate, and I think it took away from the team. I feel like it was a cheap PR stunt to maybe try to get him back some kind of credibility, make him relatable, give him something. Everybody's celebrating Team USA, so Kash is celebrating with us. But it just to me, it was just what the hell are you doing here? Get back to work. Arrest somebody. You know what I mean? It's what'd you do? You took a break from covering up the Charlie Kirk case and covering up for all the PDFs and took a break from where the foreign nation that you seem to be working for, gave you the day off so you can go drink with the homies in the locker room. It's suck a dick, bro. And I'm sorry for the language. I'm going to try not to do that. I want to try to be more Christian-like. But this stuff pisses me off. And I think it should piss everybody off. Because, what is really going on? And if you notice on the thumbnail, I have the picture of Kash Patel drinking the beer. And then what's next to it? That chair. I've been thinking a lot about that chair. And I'll pull it up in a minute. But, right now, let's face it. The world moves very, very fast, especially with social media. Every day there's another headline. Every day there's a story, especially now. It's the world is moving so fast. And I feel like even that, a lot of that is manufactured because they try to train us to have these shorter attention spans so that we don't focus on certain things. And when I think about that chair that was on that island and its purpose and what they were doing with it and what was happening to the people that were in that chair, and the fact that there has been no accountability. How many teeth do you think got removed from those children? You know what I mean? And Kash Patel can't even get that person behind bars? The person that was literally pulling the teeth out of kids? But we're supposed to relate to him and celebrate with him and be happy about Team USA winning Olympic gold? At what point does everybody realize that just the evil controlling our country and controlling our world? At what point does everybody realize that things have gotten so bad, and that if there's no accountability, all these heinous crimes that happen to children, why shouldn't we believe that it's still going on? What makes us think that it stopped? None of us, does anybody here, chat, let me know, does anybody even think that J.E. is really gone? Or you see some of those pictures that I've seen online and you think he's living happily ever after? Or how about Ghislaine? And I'm not even going to get into that picture. I saw the video. Somebody, we've all seen it. Somebody is in Canada and says, oh, Ghislaine. And she turns her head and it's oh, is that her? Listen, I'm sure there's a lot of girls that look like her. You could get that profile. So I'm not even going to sit there and try to yank on every thread that I see and try to run with every conspiracy. But I'll tell you this much. The video of the person that we've seen that was allegedly testifying the other day, that does not look or sound like Elaine Maxwell. So there's reason to believe that the one person or the two people that they did arrest that were at the top of this hierarchy aren't even in jail, that they never even had any accountability. It's all a charade. It's all a charade. Republicans, Democrats, it's all WWE. It's all bullshit, guys. It's all bullshit. Wear the marks. They're putting on a show. They get you emotionally invested. It's like good versus evil based on your ideologies. If you're on the right, it's like, oh, the Republicans, we got to get them in office. The Democrats are going to ruin the country. If you're on the left, it's like, oh, the evil GOP. No, we need the Democrats. At the end of the day, they're all playing us. Both sides are covering this up. The other day, Pam Bondi, okay, she was under oath testifying for 5.5 hours. And there were some tough questions. There were some some highlights in that where people are really hammering her on JE. But you mean to tell me that 5.5 hours, not a single one of them wanted to bring up Charlie Kirk and what's going on with that investigation? And I understand that it wasn't the big topic of the day or whatever. It wasn't on the agenda. But you mean to tell me 5.5 hours? You have both sides. You have everybody there. Okay, how many people in the world right now are online trashing Erica Kirk, trashing Turning Point USA? They're sending out cease and desist. They're getting caught in so many lies left and right with Erica's history and everything else. And you mean to tell me they're all just going to ignore it? If the Democrats really wanted to win the midterms right now, okay, you don't even need JE. All they got to do is bring up the Charlie Kirk case and say, hey, guys, there's just so many reasons not to have any faith in our government whatsoever right now. So many reasons. And it's just I'm sorry. Yeah, congratulations, Team USA. Are they even giving them real gold medals? You know what I mean? What is it, 1% gold now? Russia's still banned, but certain other nations aren't. Not for nothing, but the fact that Russia's not even in there, wasn't even in there, that kind of waters it down. That's our greatest rival. You know what I mean? What are we talking about? It's I don't know if any of you guys watch wrestling, but it'd be in the late 90s, early 2000s, having WrestleMania without, you got Stone Cold and The Rock, and then one of them doesn't show. You know what I mean? It's oh, we'll get somebody else in there. I don't know. The whole thing is just cheap. Everything. What does Candace say? It's all fake and gay. Is that the term? That's kind of how America feels right now. And I'm not saying this in an offensive way. I've been saying this the whole time. If that whole Tyler Robinson case was actually legitimate, if they were actually legitimate, why wouldn't Tyler Robinson's defense team be in touch with Candace, Barron, and Ian and everybody else that's been bringing Blake Bednar's? You know what I mean? There are so many people that have actually done real investigative journalist work. George Webb. And none of them are getting in touch. Nobody has any interest. Nobody has any interest in this Charlie Kirk case. They just want to shove the Tyler Robinson narrative down our throats. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that there was a witness that was given the identity of somebody else in completely different clothing with a different length of hair. Doesn't matter. Hide the tapes. Hide the tapes. Kash Patel, that's what he's doing. He's going to the office. He's trying to get those 911 calls that describe somebody who's not Tyler Robinson and try to hide them. He's calling judges saying we need gag orders, doing everything the dogs can't find the weapon, and then they find the weapon, all this stuff going on. And then, after a long, hard day at work, he's going to go hang out with Team USA and go pound away a few beers. What's on tomorrow's agenda, Kash? It's what are we talking about? And now the new thing is they're gonna tell us about aliens. That clip I'll play when Obama was just nonchalantly talking. Actually, let me find this right now.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in what is it?
Area 51.
Area 51. There's no underground facility unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the president of the United States.
What was the first question you wanted answered when you became president?
Where are the aliens?
Where are the aliens?
You got to love the implication there. You have to love the implication.
There's no
he's like, unless they hid it from the president of the United States. Okay, so that right there tells us that according to Barack Obama, in 2026, that he doesn't think they're really hiding much from the president of the United States. Now, I think there might be some truth in that. I don't think the president has anywhere near as much power as we're led to believe, and that they're really making these decisions. But I do think that they have a good idea what's going on. And I think that our good pal here, Barack Obama, had a pretty good idea about what was going on with J.E. and Ghislaine during his 8 years in office. And let's just put that out there. And remember, who was his Secretary of State? Oh yeah, Hillary Clinton. You know, and it's crazy too, because while Hillary Clinton was Obama's Secretary of State, okay, and the FBI was trying to put this case together, do you know they flew all the way to Australia to question Virginia Giuffre because she wanted nothing to do with any of this? Just think about that for a second. The FBI, I think it was 2010, flew to Australia to question Virginia Giuffre while Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State under Barack Obama and had J.E. and Ghislaine Maxwell and affiliates connected. Like, that was like around the same time they went to Chelsea Clinton's wedding, allegedly, according to Doug Band in some of those emails that Hillary may or may not should have had on her server and with a phone that she may or may not have hit with a hammer. I don't know. It's very hard to keep up with all this. It's very hard to keep up with all the bullshit. But, like, what is going on behind the scenes in our government? You know? And that's why it's like the way that they talk to us, the way that they talk to the American people. It's like horrible parents, horrible abusive parents with drinking and drug problems that just like lie to their kids about freaking everything. You know? And it's like the kids know that their parents are all screwed up. They know the moms are drunk. They know the dad's doing blow and cheating on the mom or whatever's going on. And they just sit there and freaking lie to their faces until the point that the kids are just so screwed up and the relationship is completely deteriorated. And that is the relationship between the government, the United States government, and the American people. Except, you know, instead of daddy going off drinking and banging some whore, you know, we have a foreign nation that's the mistress. That's basically what it is. And now, you know, mom and dad, they're both cheating. They both have somebody else that they're in love with, and they're favoring their stepkids. And it's just, fuck us. Does anybody else feel that way? Am I like going too far with these analogies? Because that's kind of how I feel. That's kind of how I feel. I like to think so. But let's hear, okay? So this is the left. Now let's see the right. Let's, you know, more WWE. It's like, oh, Obama talked about aliens. Let's see Trump's reaction.
Got a lot of attention this week. Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. You know?
So aliens are real.
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to.
Okay, you don't know they're real or not, then how is it classified information? It's one or the other. It's one or the other.
Be doing that. He made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it. You believe it, Peter?
Well, if the president can
You know what I don't believe? You know what I don't believe? I don't believe that President Trump is innocent. Now, I'm not saying that he's guilty of what everybody else thinks that he's guilty of, but I do not believe that there is an American president, me at 37 years old, I do not believe that there is a single American president in my lifetime that has not committed some form of treason against the people of the United States. I 1000% believe that. You cannot convince me otherwise. That's why. Obama, Trump, it's like the same shit. It's the same shit, guys. Stop falling for it. Stop falling for it. This left, right, it's like election season comes, and it's like, you know, like I grew up on wrestling, so I use a lot of wrestling analogies. But once we get to election season, you know, it's like midterms, it's like the Royal Rumble. And then you get to every 4 years, the president election, it's like WrestleMania. Okay? They're just trying to feed off of our energy. Feed off of our energy. And all these billionaires, all these scumbag lobbyists, you know, they're the ones salivating. The elections are for them. They're sitting there trying to buy up all these politicians, get them in their pocket. You know, they sit there, they get on TV, they get on these podiums, they just lie to our faces about everything that they're going to do. Because all these bills that they're going to pass are getting handed to them. They're not making any input. You think these people are actually voting? Like actually voting as individuals? Like, this is the whole problem with the two political party system. It's the party. They're both hive minds. Like, we're seeing it. And I feel like if you're on the right, you identified it when you saw that it was happening with the left, especially with freaking Biden, who was like just fumbling around as the president. And it's like, well, who's running the country? You know, and everyone's freaking out. It's like, who's running the country? All these executive orders. It's like, oh, the auto pen. And, you know, Trump's so quick to call it out. But then Trump gets into office and who's running the country? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't think it changed. I don't think there's really any difference. I think whoever was running the country during the Biden administration is probably running the country today. And I think that it's been like that for quite some time. I think that the last president that really, really, like, was just swinging it around trying to get shit done was JFK. And we saw how that went for him. You know, it's like I'm just done. I'm just done. So forgive me when, like please forgive me when, you know, everybody's celebrating, and I see this, and it's like, what are we celebrating for? Bread and circus. You know, I was disgusted when everybody was talking about the Super Bowl because it was like right around the time that the files came out. And it's like, who cares about the Super Bowl? Like, if there was ever a year to cancel the Super Bowl, you know, it was this year. And then it's like all people are talking about. Okay, now, mind you, this had already been out. Where is it? You know, I'm sitting here listening to people. They're talking about the halftime show. It's like, oh, can you believe they're getting Bad Bunny? Can you believe Bad Bunny? The guy's not even American. Number one, he's from Puerto Rico, which is an American territory. The guy don't even speak English. How are they going to have Bad Bunny? Like, it's like the biggest freaking deal in the world. Meanwhile, the files are out. We're finding out about what's happening to the kids in these chairs. 330 gallons of sulfuric acid. Different presidents with allegations of consuming and eating things that should never be eaten. We're talking about acts and crimes that go way beyond girls that were a little on the young side, like freaking bimbo Megyn Kelly wanted to imply. You know, whatever. I'm not going to start dropping names, but you know, when they were saying, oh, you know, he just liked them young. It's like, yeah, just liked them a little young. Like, how young are we talking? 6, 8? Why are they putting him in a dentist chair? Oh, I know why. You guys want to take a wild guess? I'm sure if I started getting into detail with my probabilities on that one, we'll lose the stream real quick. And they won't be able to use the copyright excuse this time. But seriously, Bad Bunny, that's what was upsetting you? And then, of course, think about it. You got the left, you got the Super Bowl, you got Jay-Z. They're going from one extreme, Spanish-speaking Puerto Rican guy who from time to time likes to dress as a woman, #1 artist in the world, whatever. And then they give you the alternative. It's like, or if you don't want to watch that, you could turn into, drum roll please, Turning Point USA and Kid Rock in a performance that they recorded weeks early that still came out like crap. And listen, I've always been a Kid Rock fan. It pains me to say that because I am. I always loved Kid Rock. But like, a little disappointed, bro. Like, you know, anybody who's not speaking out about what's going on and what happened to these children is complicit, okay? It is 2026. It is a new day. We are at that fork in the road. Like I said the other day, everybody in your life, whether it's in your personal life, your family, your friends, people on TV, they are telling you who they are, and you need to listen. You need to take them serious. They are telling you who they are, and sometimes they're telling you who they are by what they're not saying. And anybody with a platform right now that is not speaking out, I mean, think about it. I'm brand new to content creation. I don't even have triple digits. Like, think about it. We got 41 people in this right now. Is it because of my talents? Do I suck that bad? Am I that bad on this microphone? Am I giving misinformation? Or are my opinions so controversial or offensive that YouTube doesn't want to push me out? I've never cracked 100 on a live stream. Mind you, this is my 4th one. They've ended my stream. But why is that? Maybe because I'm speaking the truth. You know, I'm not expecting to have 30,000 people like Barron or 100,000 people like Candace. But I think that the algorithm could be giving me a little bit more of a nudge. And I have a feeling if I was going the other way and I was like, rah, rah, Team USA, Kash Patel's the man. I love my new step-parents, that maybe I'd be getting a little bit more views. Maybe. That's just my hypothesis. But because I tell the truth, and I call out evil where I see it, and I stand by my words, and I bring the receipts, I get suppressed. And you can't convince me otherwise. And I'm telling you, I don't care if I have to scratch and claw for every single follower that I get. I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to get discouraged. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, you know, this isn't really working out. I mean, these streams, I mean, I'm only getting 30, 40 people. No, I'm going to freaking keep going. Like, they're literally going to have to kill me. And I love my life. I love my family. I love my friends. I don't use any substances. I don't drink alcohol. I barely leave the house. So you could bet your ass that if anything does happen to me, that I got kirked. Or I got cappied. Remember Isaac Cappy? Remember him? Trevor Moore, remember him? Everybody, thought it was all funny, thought they were so crazy. There's a whole cluster there too. Chester Bennington, Anthony Bourdain, whole lot of people that just seem to want to speak out about this stuff around a certain point in time and wanted to raise awareness. And, they all just decided that, they didn't want to live anymore. It's so weird. It's so weird. I really, I just want to say that I love my life, and I think some of them did too. I think that they appreciated life. I think they wanted life for other people to get better, and that's why they spoke about the things that they did. And I think that there are some other people that didn't want them to speak. But because they already had a platform and they were already known, they couldn't just shut down their streams from time to time, and they couldn't just suppress them. That something else had to be done. I'm trying to be careful. I don't think I've said anything that would justify it, though. I don't think I said anything that would justify a stream. That's why I'm even being careful with the clips and stuff that I play, But, I will say this. No, I'm not cross-streaming. I am only on YouTube. I do have another account ready. Oh, and that reminds me. You know what? Just in case. Yeah, they are the Hot Topic names. But you know what? They don't want us to say those names, and that's exactly why they need to be said. That is exactly why they need to be said. We cannot let those names ever get forgotten. Those names can never be forgotten. Just like Gary Webb and Danny Casolaro, Barry Jennings, Danny Jawenko, even some of the ones that are less noble, like Mark Middleton. We can't forget any of these names, guys. Can't forget them. I think it's very important. John O'Neill, the guy at the FBI that was saying forever, like, hey, something might be going on. And then they pushed him out of the FBI. And then what happened? What do you know? He's getting a referral, guys. Don't worry. They're going to give him a new job. What job they give him? They put him security at the World Trade Center in August of 2001. And he's not with us anymore because he was trying to save lives. This world is so screwed up. So screwed up. And, there are already so many people that aren't with us anymore because they were speaking up, because they were trying to call it out. And I don't mind being one of them. And it's a shame because I really do in my heart believe that a lot of the stuff that I talk about, a lot of the research that I've done, a lot of the work that I've done, that it's not really going to be seen or appreciated or even looked at unless something happens to me. But that kind of puts me kind of gives me a little leverage though too. You know what I mean? Like maybe they'll just suppress me and write me off like a crazy person and, just hope that I don't get a big following, because you can bet your ass there are enough people out there that I've given files to that, God forbid anything did happen to me. I would hope that there are people in my life that would care enough to nut up and get it out there. But who knows? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe they'll just be so devastated that Bad Bunny did the Super Bowl that they won't even think about me when I'm gone. Maybe next year at the next Super Bowl, it'll just be somebody so much worse. Maybe it'll just take over. Like that seems to be the case, that people just care so much. Like somebody was telling me yesterday, like, Jimmy, like, why don't you just unplug? Like, forget about that other stuff. America won gold. It's like, yeah, that's what you think I should do. I should just forget about the hundreds of thousands of kids that have been abused in the worst types of ways because a hockey team won a little tournament and they gave them a medal that's not even really made of gold. Yeah, that's a good enough reason. Yeah, screw those kids. Like, no, I'm sorry. And this is what I was talking about when I talk about cutting ties with people. It's not that I cut ties with people. It's not like, oh, screw them. I don't want to talk to them anymore or anything like that. It's like, no. It's like, but I am focused. Okay? I am on a mission. I'm not just on a mission. I am on a mission from God, and nothing is going to stop me. And if people aren't with it and they don't understand this and they're not contributing in some way, then I have no time for them. It doesn't matter. Birthdays, Christmas, holidays, weddings. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not trying to act all noble and say that I'm trying to save the world, but I'm trying to make a difference. Because somebody has to. We all have to. And if enough of us give a shit, can you imagine if the majority of people out there had my attitude right now? Do you think this shit would still be going on? Seriously, think about it. Think about it. If there were as many people that were upset about the things that I'm upset about, that were upset about Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl, do you think that Kash Patel and Pam Bondi would still have jobs? It's a simple question. And mind you, I get on here, I get on these big angry rants, I say all this stuff. Do you ever hear me trying to, like, do you ever hear any hate speech? Do you ever see me blaming any groups? Or, you know what I mean? Like, no, it's not about that. It's not about that. Individual accountabilities. And there are a lot of individuals that are trying to hide behind another group to keep doing what they're doing. And it is wrong. But that's why we need to realize that these elections don't matter. They don't matter. It's not how we're going to do it. We have to find another way. We have to find another way. If these elections mattered, this would have been the one. You know what I mean? Like, this would have been the one. All the promises that were made. World peace. And we're going to end this conflict, end that conflict. We're going to release all the files. We're going to drain the swamp. There's going to be accountability. And little did we know that they were stacking the deck, putting the people in power that were the same ones that needed to go down. And some of us saw this coming, but most of us didn't, or not to the extent. Like, this administration destroyed America. They did. Like, this is the one of all the things that have, and I can't believe it because I was always afraid it was going to be Hillary. That was why I was so passionate and became such a big Trump supporter back in 2016. Because I had already identified a lot of the stuff with the Clintons. And I'm like, they cannot get in office. If they get in office, it's over. And silly me. I didn't know better. I didn't realize that it didn't make a difference back then. It just took us all a long time to catch up and to really, really see it. I think that, you know, that certain event in 2020, not the election, but, you know, when we were all cozy in our house for a little while, I think that not only was that, you know, a form of conditioning on us, but that it was a big distraction. And it muddied the water a lot in terms of the scope with politics. It was a major event. And I think that if that didn't happen, I think we would have identified this a lot sooner. And, you know, you notice that happened right after you-know-who didn't do you-know-what to himself. And then when you see what's in the files and the simulations with the King's Merchant, and I'm not going to say any names, if you watched my other live, you know who I'm talking about, I don't think we ever should have been looking at China. Just my opinion. Fuck the Super Bowl, fuck the Olympics, fuck the circus, and fuck Kash Patel. For real. All these guys. Bongino, Bondi, they're all frauds. They're all frauds. How is there no arrests? Not one. Not one. But it's a disgrace. But let's watch something. Yo, you know who I've been watching a lot lately? This guy is so freaking funny. Tim Dillon. Yo, I had no idea. This guy is like a freaking gem. He is a gem. And he is based. He knows. Tell me how. All these influencers, all the testimony the other day. And he was the only one that I saw talking about Arthur Shapiro and that case with Les Wexner. So shout out to Tim Dillon. Yo, for real. Love this guy. I didn't have time. I'm not going to lie, yo. I threw my back out shoveling. I'm on the East Coast, and I got so much snow, and I messed up my back shoveling. So the hours that I would have been organizing my clips for tonight's live, I was sleeping. I'm not even going to lie. I was like, I don't care. I have to sleep this off. I was in so much pain. If you look now, I've got like 1 million lidocaine patches on me. I took all the Tylenol in the world. I don't take painkillers anymore. I used to have a big problem with this because I've had multiple back surgeries. Like, I'm all screwed up. But I've been having a rough day. So I wasn't able to get my clips together, but I did find this. Since we're talking about Kash Patel anyway.
My other new best friend, not my new white black guy who I love, but my other new best friend is my Indian friend, Kash Patel. And I love Kash Patel, number one, because of his character, but number two, because of his commitment to justice. Dan
He can't even keep a straight face.
And Kash Patel, it's from the very great Shadows of Ezra account here. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino have decided to have a podcast, like they're doing a podcast because Dan Bongino left the FBI and is now doing a podcast again. And Kash Patel is back on his podcast. And here we go. Let's just let it speak for itself. I don't know if you can even set this up. Dan Bongino, Kash Patel.
I want to pause it quick in case they try to use this as an excuse for the copyright the copyright strikes. No, not even strike, just like cut the stream. It's like, oh, you were covering something else. It doesn't matter that every other streamer on the planet was covering the Tucker Carlson, Mike Huckabee thing. You're brand new. We're not making any money off you. You know a little too much, so we're just going to pull the plug on your stream. That was exactly what happened to me the other day. They said it was a copyright thing. They put it on the screen it was a copyright thing. And then I emailed them, and they said they made a mistake. And it's like, what do you mean you made a mistake? It's like, oh, well, the AI is a little sensitive about Tucker Carlson right now. It's like, you don't say. Yeah, I wonder why. Just don't cover Tucker, and you'll probably be fine. Like, thanks, Google. Yeah, it's such a joke. It's such a joke. All right, let's get back to it.
Patel, friends of the show, here describing how difficult it is to cover up a pedophile ring. Let's go.
Everything's a level 10 decision, Cash. A level 10 meaning there's a pardon the language, but a shitty decision and a shittier one. Because if there was a good decision to be made, someone else made it. And then when those decisions, that's every day. I know you know this because I would knock on your door and you'd be like, what now? And I'd be like, here we go again. Like something else will come up. But I just want to put into perspective for folks out there, when that decision can't even be made by me, it goes to you. When it doesn't go to you, it goes like to the president's desk. He's dealing with like level 11 decisions. And that's the thing in DC. That's why the batting average isn't always going to be 1,000.
I can't even listen to this. It's not even worth risking them pulling the plug because they're just so full of shit. But yo, there's something else I want to watch. I shout out to Danks. I want to cover some of Danks stuff. This guy has been showing me so much love lately, and he's been personally reaching out to me, calling me, trying to help my channel grow and everything. Like, yo, he is a good dude, and he is another one. He is a real one. He cares. He wants to make the world a better place.
This is a fair document here. Let me, can I open image in new tab? Okay, so this is a fair document. You can see right here. Fair registration, short form registration statement pursuant to Foreign Agents Registration Act of 1938. Pam Bondi, okay, right here. Registration number 6415.
He's bringing the receipts.
1965. And it was in the name of Ballard Partners. And these are 3 people that are in office today. High-powered positions. List every foreign principal to whom you will render services in support of the primary registrant. This one, Embassy of the State of Qatar. Now, I did find out that the income, even though it was not disclosed because of I don't know if it's a loophole or however they filled it out, but they were receiving $115,000 per month from Qatar. But she was working on behalf of Qatar, the Dominican Republic.
See, these people, they're all mercenaries. They're all bounty hunters. They're all out for themselves. All out for themselves. It's like, it's just crazy. Like, you cannot put money first. You cannot put money before God. You cannot put money before family. And you cannot put money before your country. And our entire government is filled with people that are just so quick to sell us out just to make a couple of bucks. Well, more than a couple of bucks, but it's disgraceful. Let's keep going.
Zimbabwe, Kosovo. Now, again, receiving $115,000 a month for Qatar, Bondi was listed as key personnel. She's listed as key personnel for this position on behalf of Ballard Partners. Meaning that the FARA state filings, or the FARA filing states that she would be, and I'm quoting here, federal documentation, personally and substantially engaged in this deal, in the work. The scope is related to government's relations strategic advice and consulting and advocacy services regarding matters involving anti-human traffic lights in the lead up to the 2022 FIFA World Cup. So the woman who championed anti-traffics working in Florida was being paid $115,000 a month through her organization, or her company was being paid $115K a month to help Qatar, a country with significant international criticism around its human rights.
You know, it's just, yo, he does really good work. He is digging deep. He is digging deep, and he knows how to make websites. I'm really happy that I found Danks. I'm happy for the person that he is, and I think that he is going to have a lot of success. He is another one that is on a mission, and he wants to change the world, and I think he's going to do it. But yeah, I still can't get over this. I still can't get over this. It's like, what the hell? Here we go. We got the video. Yo, this is such a joke. Look at him. Look at him. Yo, could you imagine? And again, like, I'm happy for the players. Like, if you're if you grow up playing hockey, you're an American and you play hockey. Like, this is what is all about. It's just a shame that with everything going on in the world, it's like, there's got to be priorities. And I do. I feel like him being there just totally takes away from their moment. Oh, which clip is this?
There's no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
In the files?
In the case file.
Okay.
See, it's crazy. Like, this guy, he's over here doing this, right? He's over there doing this. Like, but meanwhile, you look at this. This is perjury. This is proof of perjury. He shouldn't be sitting here with Team USA pounding beers with a medal on him. Like, yeah. He should be in fucking jail. He should be in jail. Or at the very least, he shouldn't have his position. You look at everything that was in those files, and they're still withholding. They were supposed to release it all. And you know what else is really crazy? I got to catch up. I got to do some homework because now I'm hearing that a lot of the files from around the early 2000s are not being released and they don't plan on releasing them. Why is that? What was going on? What happened in the very early 2000s that might be in those files that they wouldn't want to release? That's worse than everything that they did release already. Any thoughts? Anybody have any ideas? Like, what could be worse than a former president abusing and allegedly consuming an 8-year-old boy? Like, you would think that would be it. That would be like the worst of the worst. But no, there's something in those files from the early 2000s that's worse than that. And that Kash Patel didn't think was worth prosecuting or investigating or anything. Yo, everything here is Kash Patel. Yo, which one is this? We got another Tim Dillon clip. Wait, is this the same one?
Once you look outside of the cauldron of Washington, D.C., and this is one of the things that, I'm trying to remind myself of every day. Outside of here, there is a different America than the one that lives in the national capital region. And I try to remind myself every day when making those difficult decisions that you talked about that we make on a daily basis.
Stop it for a minute. What the fuck are these people talking about?
Yeah, I love this guy.
What
He's right.
In God's name are these two people talking about? Can anyone even venture a guess at this point? They make Les Wexner look like an open book. What are these two ghouls talking about?
Ghouls. And they do make Les Wexner look like an open book, And it's crazy, too, because, guys, remember, this is the most transparent administration ever. Ever. They even said so. The most transparent administration of all time. Promises made, promises kept. Right? Right? Isn't that what it is? I don't know, man. To me, all this drain the swamp crap that they were talking about is they took out a couple of alligators and they just dropped in a load of crocodiles. Maybe it's just me, though. But that's how I see this. That's how I've been seeing this.
What in the fuck are they talking about? Resources, decisions. Outside of D.C., there's people that live outside of D.C.? Yeah. That's what he learned? 2 years running, a year running the FBI, he learned that people live outside of the state of Virginia? This is what he learned? Did he learn that there's a population outside the District of Columbia? That's all he learned. I mean, this is like the craziest thing I've ever heard. I realized that there were people that live outside of the capital city. Yeah, actually, this is going to shock him. Most people. And they also hate him.
Yo, this guy, he really is so funny. His comedic timing and the fact, like, Tim Dillon's real gift is that he can give us real, solid, informative information about anything, including the worst information in the world, and he can still make us laugh while he's doing it. This guy is a gift from God. Seriously. Like, there's nobody like him. I can't believe I just started watching him recently. Ooh, Webb. Should we do Webb? Here, since I always talk about probabilities. All right, so I said based on the data in the files. I'm not going to ask for names because I feel like that might get me in trouble. But I'm just going to ask for how many of his associates likely did things they shouldn't have done with children. Based on the data in the files, use Bayesian theorem to give me the probability how many of his associates likely with children. Let's see. It says, I'll investigate the documents to gather evidence of associates and get their involvement in abuse, then apply Bayesian reasoning to estimate probabilities. All right, remember, I did not ask for names. I did not ask for names. You guys are my witnesses, okay? I asked for numbers. I'm not asking for names. So if I get names, it's not my fault. All right, let me get one more piece of evidence about the scope of the network. Based on my investigation, all right, here we go. Based on my investigation of the documents, I can now apply Bayesian reasoning to estimate the probability of how many of his associates likely children. Let me analyze the evidence and provide a structured probability assessment. Bayesian analysis of associate involvement in abuse. Evidence based from documents. The documents reveal several key data points. Victim count. FBI compiled reports on 34 confirmed minors eligible for restitution, increased to 40 in the non-prosecution agreement. Investigative reporting identified about 80 victims and located 60 of them. What happened to the other 20? Why couldn't they locate the other 20 victims? So they're saying that there was 80 victims underage based on the non-prosecution agreement. That means that goes back to his case in like 2005, 2006. Like, we're not even talking about the 10 years after that. If my interpretation of this is correct. Recruitment structure, okay? Primary recruiters were young girls, including his victims, who were paid to bring in new ones. Some victims became prolific recruiters, bringing dozens of others. Associate network. The documents describe an enterprise, an illicit association, defendants and his associates who knowingly facilitated, participated in, and concealed illegal conduct. Specific name associates involved in it. Convicted trafficking directly involved in recruiting. MC2 modeling agency supplied. Primary scheduler in New York. Multiple assistants. Florida responsible for scheduling and payment. Allegations against others. Virginia Giuffre's testimony claims that she was trafficked to Prince Andrew, Jean-Luc Brunel, Glenn Dubin, Marvin Minsky, Governor Bill Richardson, and another unnamed prince, an unnamed foreign president, a well-known prime minister, and an unnamed hotel chain owner from France. Bayesian probability framework. Prior probability before evidence. Given conviction for trafficking of minors and the scale of his operation, we start with high prior probability that multiple associates were involved. Evidence likelihood. Direct evidence. Conviction provides certainty for at least one associate. Documented roles, schedulers, recruiters, and assistants with documented involvement in facilitating abuse. Victim testimony. Multiple victims describing being trafficked to other men. Enterprise structure. Documents describe a network of companies and individuals who participated and conspired with him. And guys, you see all these little red things here? These are all links to the files that it's referencing. Yo, tell me how. I just loaded. You know what? Let me finish reading first. Probability estimates. Based on the evidence, I can provide with Bayesian probability estimates. At least one associate abused. 99.9%. Remember, when you're talking about science and math, it's really never going to be a 0 and it's never going to be 100. You're going to get 0. And 99.99. Just so you know. The conviction provides near certainty. At least 3, okay, this is where it gets good. At least 3 to 5 associates did abusing themselves. It's saying an 85 to 90% probability. Evidence, Maxwell convicted, Brunel, modeling agency connection, multiple assistants with direct scheduling payment roles, supporting victim testimony about being trafficked to multiple men. Now, 6 to 10 associates abused. It's saying 60 to 70%. That means that there is a 60 to 70% probability that at least 6 to 10 associates were also guilty. Now, is this or is this not evidence? Kash Patel. How is it that Ian and his team at Webb, they made this software with the same files that they've been sitting on, and they only have half of them, not even. They have a fraction of the files. And the whole government, the CIA, the FBI, whoever else, all these scumbags, they couldn't find any evidence to prosecute one person. Yet I put in one prompt on this, and it's telling me that the probability is that there's over a dozen. All right, more than 10 associates abused. Little ones, 40 to 50%. Evidence, the enterprise, described as a network of multiple defendants and others. Oh, there's a link. Consideration, scale of operation, 40 plus confirmed victims, 80 plus identified, suggests a broader network. Less than 3 associates. Okay, so less than 3 associates, it says 5 to 10%. So, okay, so now it's saying that there's about a 5 to 10% chance that it was under 3. That it was less than 3 of his associates, not him himself, Talking about associates, a 5 to 10% chance that it's less than 3. I don't know. Those odds are not. How could Kash Patel get in front of Congress and swear under oath that there was no evidence, no credible evidence? This would require Maxwell to be the only associate directly involved, which contradicts victim testimony and documented roles of other assistants and schedulers. Key Bayesian factor, increasing probability. Consistency of victim accounts. Multiple victims describe similar patterns of being trafficked to others. Operational scale, with 40 to 80 victims over years, the logistical requirements suggest multiple facilitators. Documented roles, schedulers, recruiters, victims paid to bring new girls, assistants with payment responsibilities, enterprise language. Legal documents, repeated described association, in fact, with multiple defendants. Limitations and uncertainties, redacted names. Many documents have redacted names of assistants and associates. Unproven allegations. Some named individuals in depositions have not been charged. Definition of abuse includes direct abuse, facilitation, recruitment, conspiracy. Most likely scenario, the Bayesian analysis weighted by the evidence suggests 5 to 8 associates were likely directly involved with the abuse, with a higher number, 10 to 15 plus, involved in the facilitation conspiracy. The probability distribution peaks around 6 associates. What is the probability that the current FBI director did not have any credible evidence to charge an associate with a crime related to the trafficking? Now it's referencing all the documents. All right, FBI public statement. The FBI announced that it had no evidence linking alleged trafficking ring to numerous high-profile associates. This is a direct public statement. Confirmation hearing. Patel committed to Senate Marsha Blackburn that he would do everything to reveal the full weight of what happened. Testimony. When pressed about trafficking victims and others, he clarified, "Let me make something crystal clear. I never said didn't traffic other people, other women, and there are no other victims. This is the investigation we were given from 06, 07, 08. And the search warrants from 06, 07, 08. That's what we're working with." Okay, so in his hearing, in his statement, he's basically admitting that when he says that there's no evidence, that it's because of the evidence that he was allowed to look at. So the same way that I feel like I'm being suppressed by, YouTube and these other platforms because of me trying to put out the truth, he's basically telling us that he was suppressed, that they clipped his balls. Like that's what he's saying without saying it. He's like, listen, they clipped my balls. They didn't let me sit at the big boy table and look at the real files, because then I might have to get kirked if I actually try to prosecute somebody. Like, that's what I get out of that. That they're just like, listen, Kash, it's better you just sit over there at the kid table. You don't want to see this, because if you see this and you try to do something, we're gonna send you to Valhalla. Right? Is that a fair assessment? Am I wrong for saying that? Contradictory evidence from earlier investigation. Earlier documents show the FBI had substantial evidence, including victim statements, physical evidence from trash poll. I want to keep reading names out loud. Oh, actually, this I can, because they were granted immunity. Sarah Kellen, Leslie Groff, Adriana Ross, and Nadia Marcinikova were granted immunity in 2007. Why were they granted immunity? And who granted them immunity? Isn't that a good question? Isn't that something that you guys would want to know? Because usually when somebody gives immunity, it's because they're giving information to a bigger case or somebody higher up, okay? But J.E., he was pretty high up. He was working directly for the people at the top. So it is literally impossible that these individuals were actually contributing to a bigger case, because they were a part of the big case. You understand? So this immunity shouldn't even be legal. They basically gave them a get-out-of-jail-free card for being connected to some of the most heinous crimes you can imagine. And for what? For the greater good? How is it for the greater good? Who did they give up? What criminal bigger than J.E. and the people that he was directly working for did they give up to justify this immunity that they got? All right, now let's get to the probabilities. Bayesian probability framework, prior probability, before evidence, given the scale of the operation, 40 plus victims, maximum conviction. All right, we don't have to read the same things over and over again. Let's get to the good stuff. All right, probability that he had no credible evidence against anyone associated, 15 to 20%. Probability that he has some credible evidence but not enough to charge, 40-50%. Probability that he had credible evidence but faced legal evidentiary barriers, 25 to 35%. And I got to be honest, I think that these probabilities are a little high. Like, this is favoring Kash. Nobody could say that Ian and his team made a bias. So, like, this is very, very favorable to Kash. I think that Webb is objective. Because I think that these probabilities are a little bit off. I think that also you have to take into consideration, which is what I'll ask next, is that this doesn't have all the files. You got to remember, it's saying that there's a 10 to 20% chance that Kash is telling the truth, that he didn't have enough evidence, but we only have a fraction of the evidence that he saw. So it's saying that Kash probably had the evidence to prosecute, but he had a lot of obstacles that would have kept it from being successful. But of all these obstacles, the lack of evidence, in all likelihood, in all probability, was not the issue. It was the politics involved. It was the swamp. The swamp was too thick and too muddy for anything to get done. Because I believe Pam Bondi said it herself. If they were to prosecute everybody that was guilty of something in those files, that it would take the whole system down. Think about that. You have the most heinous crimes. Think about that chair and how many kids had their teeth removed. Had their teeth removed so that they wouldn't bite. And who they wouldn't bite. And what they were doing that would make them want to bite. And so that after they were done with them, that they wouldn't be identified. They wouldn't be identifiable. And that there are so many people in our system, in our government, that are connected to this and guilty in some way, compromised in some way, whether directly or indirectly or financially, that it would take our entire system down. So, what matters right now? Did the Super Bowl matter? Do the Olympics matter? You know, baseball season's going to start now soon. Does that matter? What matters right now? What matters to you? What matters to you? You know what does matter to me, aside from this, is what's going on in Mexico, is what's going on in Iran, what's going on in other regions that I'm not even allowed to talk about on here because YouTube says that's a no-fly zone. There are lives being lost every single day. There are children being hurt every single day. And here in America, we, the citizens of America, despite the fact that we're all turned into debt slaves, despite the fact that the evil stepmom is running the house and making all of our lives a living hell, we still have it better than a lot of the people in this world. And it disgusts me, the percentage of people that want to keep their heads in the sand and don't even want to speak up about this. It really does. It hurts my soul. And, you know, even if I suck at my new job here and I'm not entertaining enough, I'm not credible enough, whatever the case is, that I can't get more than 50 people on a live stream, in my heart, I know that I'm doing the right thing and I'm going to keep doing it. And I appreciate every single one of you that is here with me tonight. I'm telling Webb to factor in the fact that it has at most half of the files that Kash Patel had access to in the database, and that he was able to see them without the redactions and to rerun the probabilities. All right. I feel like Webb is giving Kash a lot of credibility right now, and it's not really considering the fact that maybe he wasn't that honest. Maybe he was compromised. All right, it's saying, factoring in Patel's information advantage and potential compromise. So the probability that Kash Patel is compromised and lied under oath is saying it's 45 to 55%. Financial conflict, political pressure, convenient, no evidence finding, Bayesian update, original no evidence probability, 30 to 40%. Compromise factor is 45 to 55%. The probability that Patel is compromised but told the truth is 20 to 30%. Evidence, even compromised individuals can tell truth if evidence is truly lacking. Consideration, with full access, he might genuinely find no evidence. Probability Patel is not compromised and told the truth, 15 to 25%. I didn't even know that he took $800,000 in Trump stock. Yo, how is that even legal? Yo, the balls on this guy. The balls on this guy. And wait, if he got $800,000 in stock, why wasn't that brought up? Why didn't, like, when this is what I mean about it being WWE crap. Nobody asked him while he was under oath, questioning him, like, hey, I see here that you got $800,000 in stock from Trump Media. Is that true? Yes or no? You're under oath. Doesn't that make you compromised in some way? Like, think about it. If these files, if so many of these files are connected to Trump, who is the sitting president, and Patel is working for Trump and financially invested in Trump, how is that not like a giant conflict of interest when it comes to him working this case? You know, like, it's crazy. It's crazy. And then that makes it even shadier when, who was it? Was it Joe Kent is his name? The guy who worked under Tulsi Gabbard that said that he wanted to do an investigation in the Charlie Kirk case to see if there was foreign involvement. And Kash Patel said no. He shut that down. He did not allow Tulsi Gabbard's people to do an investigation to see if there was any foreign involvement with the Charlie Kirk case, despite the fact that they had his cell phone and that he said that he was going to be leaving a certain movement 48 hours before he died. And then they tried to lie about it and acted like he didn't take that position. And then Charlie Kirk is saying the day before he left us to at least two individuals that we know of, one being Andrew Colvett and the other being Dan Flood, that he thought that somebody was gonna off him. And then Erica Kirk is on the Glenn Beck show saying, no, I had his phone. If that was gonna happen, then I would have known. Actually, I'm gonna pull up that clip real quick.
We knew that there was always going to be a threat, but Charlie and I we promised each other we would never live in fear. And he would say, if they're going to get me, they're going to get me. But he was not messaging people the day before saying, I'm going to be murdered. They're coming after me. Someone's going to kill me.
Yes, he was. We have confirmation that he was. He said that to Andrew Colvett. He said that to Dan Flood, the guy who did the signal right before. And wasn't Andrew Colvett the one that met her at the airport? Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. And people are more upset about Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl. And they're actually watching her platform. It's like, oh, screw Bad Bunny, screw the left. Yeah, Kid Rock, Turning Point USA, yeah. Like, are you kidding me?
He didn't say that. And I have his cell phone.
That is a very, very strong statement on the record. How is that not like the biggest red flag for everybody in America? How did she not, like think about it. If any actual civilian gets offed, your spouse is like going to be the number one suspect, especially if there's a financial incentive, especially if you have connections to people that have the capability to do what was done. And now you have this lie. Yo, Jason, thank you for becoming a supporting member. I appreciate that, buddy. But yo, this is crazy. Crazy. Thank you for the memberships. Guys, thank you for taking the time with me tonight. But also, become a member here. Make sure you email me. Email me your social media stuff too, if you want. And I'm going to prioritize the people that are in that email for who I contact with directly. And I'm going to have promotions in there. I got merch that's coming very soon. And, I want to build a community and I want to do things a little bit differently. All right, but I am going to get going. Remember what I always say, guys. Remember, be kind, be grateful, do something nice for somebody, and have a great night.